This is Subscriber, and it just might be the best YouTube tool that I have ever used. Essentially, what it is a script writing AI tool, but it's not just, your normal, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you're using, and just say, hey, write me an article. This is so in depth, completely different than anything that you've ever used. I guarantee it. And in this video, I want to go through an actual script of how you put a script together, just so that you can see how mind blown I was the first time I used this tool about 4 or 5 months ago. Surprisingly, it did show up on AppSumo. I was not expecting this for it to show up on AppSumo, but it's there. So I would definitely take advantage of it. All right. So just in case, I will leave a link down in the description. If you find any value in this video, please use that link. It will not be any additional cost to you. But let's just go through the cost for what Subscriber cost at AppSumo. It just went up. When it first came out, this was, I think, $59. And I think some of these tools, tiers, I should say, was around 15 to 20% cheaper. And I think it's just a way to try to get people who are who found it early. And I did create a video. If you haven't watched it already, I do have a full review of Subscriber on this channel that you can check out. But in that video, I didn't go through step by step how to create a script. But just as I do want to point out this one last thing. When I first signed up for this, there was only 5 tiers. So tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and there was a tier 5. I signed up initially for tier 4. It was only like $350 at the time. And then right before the prices went up, I signed up for tier 5, which is now $709. When I did it, it was only $590 something. So that went up $110. But they also added 2 new tiers. So this is a good thing, right? Because the guy who created this tool, his name is Gil. He's a really good guy. I know him. We've chatted a few times and with email and in some private groups. But in this one, the license tier 6 and the license tier 7, these are mainly going to be for agencies. 1,500 credits per month. You're going to have a hard time running through that if you're just running a couple of channels. This is mainly if you're doing, probably 10, 15, 20 channels all at the same time. I'm perfectly happy with around 400 credits. With this, each article, or I should say script that you're going to write, it's probably going to cost you anywhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 12 credits. So you can do the math and then figure out exactly what tier that you would get. I wanted to get the license tier 5 because I want to be able to train some VAs to log in and actually put these scripts together. But go ahead and check it out. First link down in the description. But with that said, I do want to show you one video and the script that I put together for it using Subscriber. And I just want you to look at the way that look how straight this line is. All right. Now, anytime you're looking at your your YouTube analytics, specifically your retention graph, you're going to usually have this dip at the very beginning, unless something else is just completely wrong. And we still have 66% of the viewers who are still sticking around 30 seconds, which is pretty good. That just means that the next video that we put out, we need to take a closer look at the hook to make sure that it's actually keeping people around. But usually once it starts to level out, as you can see right here, around a minute or so, when you're probably getting right into the video, there's only a very steady decline. And a lot of this has to do with editing, but a bigger portion of it has to do with the scripting. The scripting with this video was done very well, 100% by AI using Subscriber. And you can see here, it kept people's attention. Even by the end of the video, we still have 20% of people who have watched this video still sticking around at the very end of the video. So that tells me that the tension and the storytelling and all of that stuff was actually pretty solid to have this many people still watching at the end. It's good. So this is proof right here that this tool really does work, and just wanted to point that out. So now let's jump into Subscriber and let's actually just look at that actual script that I put together using this tool. And I'm going to go through each one of these over here on the left, just so that you can see what each particular part of the process is. It is a lot more in-depth than if you were to just go to ChatGPT and just type, hey, write me a script. But if you do that, who knows what the AI is going to spit out at you. And one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have when they're creating scripts with AI is if it's accurate, right? How do you know what you're actually saying and putting in there? The AI isn't just making it up, because the AI is really good at saying wrong very confident of being wrong very confidently, right? If you have any experience with using any of these tools. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So with this one, the name of this is the title that I came up with actually before I actually jumped into the script writing process. When I put together YouTube videos, the first thing that I do is come up with the title and the thumbnail, and then I work on everything else. I want to make sure that all of that is solid, because there's probably more time needs to be put into those two things rather than the script itself, which is why having AI do it actually fixes a lot of problems. So you have the very beginning script writing process, and then after this, you have the research section. Now, the research section is probably going to be one of my favorite parts of this entire process, and I'll tell you why. With research, you are actually going to feed the AI all of the information that you would like to have it reference, or at least have it become part of its knowledge, and to refer to and to refer from as it's putting together the script itself. I keep saying article because I used to be a blogger, but I'm into YouTube now. But putting the script together is using all of these things. So here's the real cool part about it. You can put almost anything, and you can do a lot of it from within Subscriber itself. So for example, you can search the web, and it gives you some examples of things that you can search for. I believe this uses Bing or Google, and I'm not sure exactly which one. You could also just pull up Google or Bing in your own web browser, grab the URL, and just throw it in here also. But let's just say impact of Tiger Woods on the 2009 scandal. You click this button, let's see exactly what's going to come up. It's going to go out and search the web for that particular title, along with the information I've already given the AI at this point. And here you go: Jacksonville.com, CBS News, Sports Journal, Sports Business Journal, Hollywood Reporter, the New York Times. And all you gotta do is just press a plus sign right over here, and it will take in that entire article. It tells you just about how many words it is, and it'll include it in the research that it's going to refer to. And this is what fixes a really big problem with AI, because it's going to be getting this information from these articles. So as long as you trust Sports Business Journal, as long as you trust CBS News, it's going to give you good information. Now, there is word count on all of these, so you do want to keep in mind that you don't hit your limit. Now, this is a per script limit here. It's not necessarily for the whole month or whatever, in terms of what you're getting. So for each individual script, you have a research limit. Now, this one, I want it to be super accurate. So I think it defaults at like 5,000 words. So I increased the limit to 45,000. I think there's also increments of like 15,000, 30,000, 45,000, just depending on what you need. It looks like I only used 11,000 words on this particular one. I had 11,000 more available. I used 33,000. This is super helpful when you're adding certain types of content. So, for example, I added YouTube videos, and I added a couple of podcasts. Now, if it's like an hour-long podcast, the number of words that it's getting in that podcast, like right here, 7,400 words. That's a lot of words, right? And it's gonna end up taking a big chunk of your research limit. But if you want to import podcasts of podcasts that people have been on, maybe podcasts that Tiger Woods has been on, or whatever, whoever you're talking about in your script, you'd be able to throw it right into this just by giving it the URL, by just clicking add video, dropping the URL right there. There's a couple of limitations. You can only do 5 at a time. If the video fails, you may not be able to, or the transfer doesn't exist. I had this happen a couple of times. At that point, just go to the YouTube video itself. You can copy and paste the transcript. That's something that I believe YouTube includes natively now within their on the watch pages. So you can just add that. But usually you can just drop the URL of the YouTube video and then click add and add video. And then if you have like an individual link, maybe it's social media, maybe it's TikTok or Instagram Reels or something like that, you can drop that in here, and then you'll be able to give the AI even more context on what it is you're talking about. If you have your own text that you just want to add, maybe there's a PDF document, maybe there's personal information that about the subject or whatever, you can throw it in here. One thing I heard someone was doing was that they knew a lot about a subject, so they just recorded their voice doing a lot of it. had AI just transcribe it for them and then dump it right into here, gave it a title. You can star resources. So starred resources is if you're doing a channel and you have resources that you would like to draw from over and over again as you're creating scripts, because usually, you're creating like content. So let's just say this video, this text right here that I added, what happened to Jordan Spieth, I can make this available on all scripts. That way I don't have to pull it in another time the next time I need it on a future script. And then taking all of this. So again, this is probably my favorite part of this entire process, just going out and doing the research, finding these good articles, YouTube videos, podcasts, editing and links, whatever, and you'll be able to make sure that what the AI is pulling is actually accurate and it's not just making it up. So once you've put in all of the research, let's now jump into the frame. So the frame is basically what angle are you taking at this particular topic. So you can have and usually this includes storytelling frameworks. So it gets the framework for, how to tell this kind of story or how to tell that kind of story, like an underdog story or rags to riches story or, anything like that. Like actually there's underdog right there. So in this particular video, this one mistake that changed golf forever. In this video, the angle that I'm taking is what happened with Tiger Woods with the whole scandal that he had with his wife and everything, how that changed golf. Right. So that's what the whole premise of the video is. So I went with a cause and effect framework, and you can look at the unique angle. Tiger's downfall was the domino effect. His personal issues in 2009 set off a chain reaction. It wasn't just about him anymore, and the names like Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, all of that. So it got the point, right, of what I was looking. If I was doing a before and after underdog story or whatever, maybe I'm talking about how Tiger came back from all of that, just a different angle or a different scope to the story. So then you just choose it. Just choose one of these. Just hit the little checkbox there. If you like the angle that it's going, but maybe you don't like the unique angle that the AI came up with, you can hit this plus sign and it'll create more like this. And then you can choose from it if you like. You can edit it yourself if you want. If you want more, maybe you don't like all three of these, you can come down here, reply to subscriber and just say, hey, can you just give me 5 more story angles or something like that? Hit generate, it'll throw in some more, and then you can choose from there. Very important to look at the scope and everything when it comes to creating your YouTube videos, because you want to create a scope of a story that doesn't already exist on YouTube, or if it does, you're going to be doing a better job at it. So picking a frame is entirely important because it's the storytelling framework that you're going to be using. Now, once you have done all of this, now you can go through and choose the title. So in this instance right here, the one mistake, this one mistake changed golf forever. So I forgot to put the D there, but regardless, I already had this title made out, so I wasn't going to really go into any more, but let's just say I wanted some more. So I can say, give me 5 more titles. I don't know why I can't type all of a sudden. Oh yes. All right, there you go. And then click generate. So then you give that just a few seconds and it will end up generating 5 more options. So how Tiger slip open doors and others, new golf stars rise, Tiger's fall changed golf's competitive landscape, the Tiger Woods mistake that changed golf. I like this one better because the thumbnail has a big picture of Tiger, so it's pretty clear. But you see how it just gave me 5 more, and I can just hit a check mark if I want to keep it. Or again, I can hit the plus sign and it'll tell me, it'll give me some more that are similar to this one if I like the angle that it's going. The next part will be the thumbnail. So I already had a thumbnail for this particular one that I just came up with on my own, but this one will give you a few ideas for what the thumbnail could be like, because you're trying to convey the idea that Tiger was the reason that things happened or things changed. So for example, a chessboard with Tiger Woods pieces toppled over and other players moving into checkmate positions. That's not terrible. It's a pretty complicated, thumbnail really, but if you have a good graphic designer, they can bring that to life, to make it look very simple. A shattered golf trophy with Tiger Woods in the background and a new player rising from the pieces. that's pretty creative, right? And if you like the angle, again, hit the check mark for the ones that you like, or just hit the plus sign if you want ones that are similar to this. A split image of Tiger Woods looking despondent on one side, contrasted with a bright smiling warrior. That's actually very good. I like that one totally. Yeah, actually, I might update the thumbs with that one. I really do like that one. But regardless, you just choose one and then go from it. If you want more, you can then go into the AI and tell it what else you'd like it to do. Once you've chosen a thumbnail, now we have to go through the hook. Again, super important part of this entire process is the hook that I have up here is, what if I told you that there was one night in November 2009 that changed the entire golf landscape? And when you click it, it tells you the kind of hook it is. So this is a question hook. I like to ask intriguing questions at the beginning of a video because I think it just helps to spark curiosity, right? Picture this. This is a storytelling one. This is a statistic or a fact. Did you know that before 2009, Tiger Woods won 32% of PGA tours he entered? That's like winning 1 out of every 3 games you play. It's unheard of in any sport, but in November, everything changed. I see that's a good contrast right there. So I like that one pretty good. But again, just go through the whole process, and if you don't like some, or if you want to add some, same process, show me more like this, or check the one that you like. I ended up going with this one. And then now we go on to the payoffs. Now, this is pretty important as well. So the payoffs are super crucial in how your storytelling is going to build throughout the video. These are the types of questions that are going to be answered in the video itself. So the video script is going to add tension, it's going to add curiosity, and these are going to be the payoffs, the answers to these types of questions. So you can choose as many as you like. It does recommend that you do certain number of them. This one says for a 2,500 word script, consider up to 5 payoffs. With this one, it's a 2,500 word script, so they want 5 payoffs. I went with 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So probably too many. And if you did too many, then all of a sudden you may not be able to go super in depth into one, when you think of it about it that way. But yeah, so you just choose which ones that you like and that you want to include in your story. So you can see just how insanely detailed this is. Now we're going to go over to the draft. So the draft would then break down all of the payoffs and then how the storytelling outline came to be. You do have a couple of options with this. You can tell the subscriber AI to just create the outline so that you can kind of use a little more granular process when you're looking through it. Or you can tell it to create the outline and the actual draft of the script itself. Most of the time, I probably would just go with the draft of the script itself just so I can save you some time. But it doesn't really matter whatever you'd like to do, how granular you want to get into it. So when we're looking at the actual introduction, so what if I told you that one night in November 2009 changed the entire golf landscape? Boom. So that's the actual script that it came up with. And then here's the cool part. You can look at the plan. And actually, let's do this for a different one. Let's look at this one right here. So you can look at the plan. The plan now will tell you how it's going to structure this part of the script. So the hook, the setup, the tension, explore how Tiger's experience includes stats, build anticipation, resolution, transition. This is editable. I can type in here and I can add additional stuff. I can take away stuff if I like. This is going to be part of the prompt that subscriber is going to use for the AI to create the article or to create the script. Once you've done this part, then you're going to go to the research. This is where, again, getting the accuracy with these scripts makes a huge, huge difference, because here it'll tell you the research is going to be using to fulfill this plan, right? So it also prompts you with where it's getting this information from. So this tells me it's getting it from money.cnn.com. This particular fact is getting from a YouTube video. This particular fact is getting from biography.com. And then it tells you where it got it from here. What happened to Jordan Spieth? Earlier, that was I think just a note that I added specifically within this particular script. So it pulls it from these places so that when it writes it, it's going to write it in a very accurate way, and you won't have to worry about it coming up with something like too crazy. And then once you write it, it actually throws it out there like so. The night that everything changed. So you can then run through this with each one of these parts of the script, and then you have your conclusion at the end. up here you have some actions, right? So you can add a section if you want. Maybe you looked at the section and maybe there's a certain thing that you wanted to address that the AI didn't come up with, didn't get to, whatever. You can add a section if you want to increase the length of it. If you want to check or refresh the research, very, very helpful here. So let's just say you went through this and you wanted to add a section, but maybe you want to add additional research to it as well. You can go back and add more research to this section and then come here and say refresh the research. Now that will require you to regenerate the draft of the script at certain points, or if you just tell it to just generate the whole thing again, you can have it to refresh the outline and all of that cool stuff there. So as you can tell, this is very, very well thought out. The guy who created this guild, he just has put together like an insanely amazing script. But we're not done here, folks. So going next to the next thing, we have the edit. So on this one, I already applied a lot of these edits, but what you'll notice is in the actual draft itself, some of these words are long, right? So this one was supposed to be 329 words. It gave me 572. Same thing here, 409, 329, 270. Oh, this one was about right. 360, 329. So these were, the AI is prompting more than it needs so that we can come in and then edit it and take out anything that might seem repetitive, something that might be unnecessary or anything like that. Now, usually you got to read through this entire script and be like, okay, what parts are repetitive? What parts are I can take out, or yada, yada, yada. With the edit function, you can have the AI look at the article with an editor's mindset, thinking, okay, are there parts that are repetitive, or are there this, or are there that? And then it'll pop up here and say, this part right here could be rewritten, right? It's going to be a red section that tells you what was there, and then a yellow section that tells you what it would like. And then if you choose one, it then turns to green for what the actual thing is. So then that's going to help with, the way the AI is, it's going to be repetitive sometimes because it's writing these things in individual chunks, but the editing part will catch a lot of it. You still got to look at it, but it'll catch a lot of it. And then you just do that for the entire script. And then you can actually type in here as well if you want to. You see, I can type right there if you want to add anything, specifically to it. Then we jump to the review. So that's pretty much it with terms of the script being done, but we're not done yet, right? So I didn't choose any thumbnail idea. However, if you did have thumbnail idea, it will put it right here. You have the total word count of the script itself, the reading grade, which is super important. I have that within the voice here, so that as it's creating the article the first time, it's trying to keep it at a 5th grade level. The readability is at an 80. You usually want that to be anywhere from 60 to 70, according to this right here. 13 minutes, 43 seconds. Actually, when I did the video, it came with the 12:58. So it was only off by about 45 seconds, which actually is pretty good. And that's probably because of just more tight editing, or maybe a section that was taken out, after the video was created. Another cool thing here at the bottom, script, research, and thumbnail. So you can you can copy the script and then paste it into like a Google Doc or into a Word doc or whatever you need. Maybe you got to give it to your voiceover guy or whatever. And then you can also just download it if you need. Research, the actual research that you put together for this particular script, you can copy it, you can download the research so that you can always keep it on hand if you need it. And then the thumbnail, you can copy the thumbnail idea, or you can click this pretty cool brief here. So this is a URL that you can give to your thumbnail designer, and it gives them a lot of information about this particular video. So YouTube thumbnail design brief. This is the title of the video. This is one mistake that changed golf forever. It gives the unique angle. It gives the audience goals. It gives the thumbnail idea if you actually had one, and then the hook. What if I told you that? Yada yada yada. So using all of this information, it gives your thumbnail creator or designer at least something to go by, plus any additional instructions that you give it. And then if it's attached to your actual channel, it'll list other videos. And in that way, the thumbnail designer can look at it and see, okay, I see what kind of angle they're going at. What can I do that matches the branding of the channel? But then it's also pretty unique and will get clicks. So I really like this feature if you have a thumbnail designer. And then you would go to the publish section. And then once it's published, you can generate a description. You can generate tags. I mean, you can generate tags if you want. You don't really need to, but if you don't have to worry about it, it gets done right there. And then you can just copy and paste this as you are uploading the video eventually into YouTube. And that's it, you know, in terms of creating your script. As you can see, it's kind of a hand-holding process. It will take you a little bit of time, but it will create a good, accurate script that you don't have to worry is, you know, inaccurate. You don't have to worry is the storytelling good, because again, just like here, the storytelling was solid. There are no massive ups, no massive downs. It's just a straight shot there. So it shows that it was able to hold attention, and that's what these scripts are here to do. So if you ever need help with putting together videos, coming up with ideas, or anything like that, be sure to go check out yourextrapaycheck.com/subscribe. I'll actually put a link down in the description for you as well. I talk a lot about side hustles and stuff, but mainly about YouTube and raising and building newsletters, because that's what I'm doing right now, and it's fun. I really do enjoy this stuff. So if you do want to check out Subscriber, though, I'm going to leave also a link down in the description to go check it out. I will recommend that you get at least tier 2. Tier 1, it's a waste of money. I wouldn't go with the tier 1. Go at least tier 2. Because of what I do with faceless YouTube videos and everything, tier 4 was good for me. I went ahead and upgraded to tier 5 afterwards because I just love this tool. But go ahead and check it out. And if you have any other questions for me, please let me know down in the comments. I might make another video about Subscriber because I do like this tool so much. But if you have something that you'd like me to include in the video, let me know, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot.